Make yourselves comfortable. Here we are together again. So this is going to be quite a weekend. It's going to focus on experience more than much talk. It's going to be, we get together for a huddle like this, and then you go run the play. So I hope you enjoy it. It'll mean a lot to you if you engage in it happily and humbly. Humbly means you don't make prejudgments about what's supposed to happen or your worthiness to have it. You just work at it. Let it happen. Let it work on you. This is called a retreat. We wish there were better words, because these are major advances in your life, allowing yoga to grow on you and grow in you. But retreat's an acceptable word, so we use it. It's an advance. It's a forward movement and a gathering together within yourself to see what's the next chapter of my life going to be and how may I live it the better? How may I be ready for a new dimension of my life? With that attitude, how can you make the best of a retreat? Just be honest with yourself. Give of yourself, your attention, your thoughts, your feelings, your energies. Give, but also receive. Be open to receive all kinds of wonderful things that your soul within you and the infinite would like to bestow on you. Do the giving part, but also be open and do the receiving part too, and you'll have a great retreat. The idea of dedication means consciously doing this giving thing. That is, give this retreat to your soul and the infinite. Make it available that your soul and the infinite can inspire you and guide you and empower you, help you along. So the idea of dedicating a retreat is consciously realizing that maybe in your normal way of thinking and feeling, you're not open fully to soul and spirit. So dedication says, yeah, I want to be more open to the workings in my life of soul and spirit. And especially during this retreat. I offer this retreat up for soul and spirit to get at me, and also for soul and spirit to give me what soul and spirit would like to give me. These insights, these feelings of your true self, these possibilities that you glimpse are meant to become more permanent in your life, more fully a part of you. So, we'll dedicate the retreat now. Sit comfortably. Sense your inner self beyond your mind, beyond your heart. This pure being. And sense also that this pure being within you comes from an infinite consciousness and is focalized within you. And we offer the retreat to the purposes of this soul within us, this spiritual reality within us, that it might move and express in our lives, in our thoughts, in our feelings, in our senses, in our bodies, in our relationships, in our way of life. And as symbol of this, we chant 3 Oms. Om representing openness in the body, the physical life. The second Om in our mental, emotional life. And the third Om in our spiritual life. Inhale. Again. Once more. Bravo. So we're dedicated. Okay. Have you met your inner guru? You know, in your mind and heart ask, have I met my inner guru? Have I? Because we talk about the inner guru a lot. Your guru is your true self. We call it in yoga the Atman. But it has this function of being guru and guide. The guru is a guide to spiritual realization and fullness of life, to finding the purpose of life and living the purpose of that life. So the Atman, or the inner guru, is a guide. Also, the dispeller of darkness dispels the ignorance in which we normally live, allowing us to live continuously aware of spirit. Dispeller of darkness, guru, ruler who dispels the muck, the mud. Dispeller of darkness, guru, dispeller of darkness. And a matchmaker. The guru functions as someone who helps you find and relate to God all your days. Not bad. So perhaps your inner guru, in all likelihood, has led you to me, a Satguru. Very likely that's happened. And you're wise to let me instruct you and give God's blessings to you. You're wise to be receptive in that regard. But I, too, out here as a Satguru, want you to meet your inner guru, your true self, an ultimate guide. And my hope is that you'll really advance on this during this retreat, meeting your inner guru. I should first say what Yogananda said about grace, because it involves you doing your part, the guru out here doing his part. Yogananda said realization is 50% God's grace. So that's the main place the grace comes from. So when you're talking about realization, it's between you and God, and you doing your part and God deciding one day it is time for you to have realization. So you can try to hurry it. You can try to get God in a hammerlock with a half Nelson. But usually coercion doesn't work, although Ramakrishna tried it many times, tried to force God and Divine Mother, and it seemed to work. But he was an avatar. And you can be urgent and insistent. Yes, well, just whatever you dare try. Just try it out of love. God will understand. But so why haven't I had realization? Well, it can be explained this way. It's God's grace. It's not because you're going to get all the puzzle right, and then God's going to say, oh, you've done the puzzle right. Zap! No, it's God's grace. It comes at the perfect time, based on where you're at, and based on God's love and care for you. So you get realization when God determines you're going to have realization. Besides, you wouldn't like it till you're ready for it. You wouldn't like it. Your ego is going to fight it till it comes to a point where it would be ready to, yield and accommodate something greater than itself at all times. Your ego doesn't want to do that. Let's not kid around. So, but then again, maybe your ego does. I don't know. Okay, so it's 50% God's grace. God's just lovingly going to give you enlightenment. Okay. That's 50% of it. And then it's 25% the grace of the guru out here. And the guru doesn't go to bed at night and think, well, who's worthy of grace and enlightenment tonight? Gurus are entirely prejudiced in your behalf. They wish that it happened yesterday. They just wonder, what's holding this up? God, please. How long? So we're not holding up the show as far as we know. We may be, but as far as we know, we're not holding it up. We're giving it our all in terms of what we want, goodwill for you, and wishing for you the very best of life on a continuous basis, certainly a daily basis. Okay, so Guru's grace. But the Guru might have some reason or other to say, Lord, please teach them this or that, if there's something blatant that's missing that needs to be learned. But the Guru would still wish you had enlightenment because it'd make everything so much easier, and he could put a check mark beside your name. Yippee! Check. But Yogananda would say, the main thing is your grace. Enlightenment also involves 25% your grace. You have to look upon yourself with love and mercy and sincerity. You have to give your grace to the project. And that's usually where the thing holds up. People don't give their grace to their enlightenment and wholeness. They have various reasons they withhold their grace. So, just like you could give your grace to a dog or a cat, you might try to give it to yourself. Just instead of all your mind games and all your stored feelings, you might say, I'm going to be gracious, have kindness and mercy toward myself today, too. Because very often we beat ourselves up and suffer a lot from personal, mental or emotional flagellations. So I preview my comments. I say up front these prefaces that remember it's grace. Nobody ever got enlightened and felt that they earned it. They felt it was given as a wonderful gift from God. Oh, finally, God is coming across with what he has so long owed me. Nobody got enlightened ever felt that way. In trying to get it, they felt that way, but as they grew in awareness, it's just, how can I be so fortunate? There are these questions of, how can God enlighten this person and not me? That's the ego comparing and trying to decide the way the game goes. Turns out it's perfect, and it involves your relationship with the Lord. What you think and feel about God and yourself, it has a lot to do with what's going inside there. And Yogananda had a good way of saying it. 50% God's grace, 25% the Guru's grace, 25% your grace. And that's usually where the problem lies. You don't give grace to yourself. Mercy, appreciation, help, care. So, in terms of enlightenment, when that great day comes, it'll be the result of grace. Don't kid yourself. But you got to do your part. You do your part toward that grace, but it's going to be, you're going to see it clearly when you receive it. This was God's grace. And how can I be so fortunate? Rather than, look, I've done yoga a long time. The bargain is this. That's trading love, and doesn't work all that well in terms of discovering who you are. But it has a lot to do with your ego trip. How intense the ego is, how separate it feels, how much it wants to accomplish before it yields to God. Good and bad. Okay. So as long as that's perfectly clear, it's about grace and living in a more grace-conscious life instead of cause and effect. Just kind of be open to grace, changing the whole paradigm someday. Okay. There's a beautiful thing about you. We talk often about what is your nature. Your nature is God-given. If you get to know your nature, select from yoga. That's why our yoga center is so beautiful. Based on your nature, you select from this wonderful, vast, I want to say smorgasbord, but it just doesn't sound as good. From this vast range of yoga possibilities, that sounds better. You select what suits your nature, and it helps you grow the fastest. It's a marvelous thing, because your nature is God-given. To select from yoga what most suits your nature, and let that guide you. It should fit your nature in order to work best, suit your nature. But why is your nature God-given? Why is that such a powerful thing? Well, that's what we're getting into today. And it's your vibration. Your nature is based on a vibration you have that comes from God. Your nature is a product of your vibration. So if you want to know your soul, if you want to know the Lord of your heart, it's best to focus on what is my vibration and how to make it clearer and let it be stronger. Because your vibration is a beautiful thing about you. It comes from the infinite spirit. The infinite spirit focalizes itself as a unique identity. And that unique identity has a distinct vibration. And that distinct vibration clothes itself in an ego and a mind and a heart and a body and the senses you got. It's your vibration that's the core of what you might call you, of your individual self. What's your vibration? And wonderfully, if you get to know that vibration, you feel stronger all the time. If you get to know that vibration, you feel refreshed. Finally, I have a profound sense of who I am, instead of a confusion about who I am. Get to know your vibration. And it's also refreshing and renewing to abide in your vibration. We're all running around here confused about our vibrations, on the planet, and colliding with one another, and misunderstanding one another, never understanding ourselves. We don't know our vibration. This weekend, hopefully, we get into and know and are recharged and empowered by our vibration. One of the fun things in life is to discover your own unique vibration, because that is the way spirit has focalized itself and is expressing as what we call you, or as what you call me. A distinct vibration. But our thoughts and feelings and the clamor of the world make us very confused. We don't sense our vibration. We don't consolidate in our vibration. So, your vibration is key. Your vibration comes from God. Get into your vibration. You can find your way through your vibration back to God, to the source of your consciousness. Whatever you want to use as a word, God, The infinite we use quite often, or the source. So, what's your vibration? And the main place you find your vibration is in the heart, in the front of your chest, to the right center. When people say, "Is this your bag?" and you wonder if they're talking to you, you say, "Who, me?" And you automatically go, "Who, me?" We're returning to that focus because that's the first place you can sense clearly your vibration. Hey, you. Who, me? And you touch right here. Why don't you touch here? Why don't you touch here? Why don't you touch your third eye? Who, me? Or Sahasrara. Who? Me? You mean me? Who, me? No, we humans, we go, who, me? Me? You're disrespecting me? Like even mobsters know it. Mobsters know it. You're disrespecting me. Okay, so focusing at this point, you can pick up your vibration and begin hopefully to live in it all day long. Just focusing here. So what we're going to do first is we're going to touch this place to the right of your breastbone, in the middle of your chest. And we're going to focus on the distinct vibration we have here and try to sense it. So it's usually best to chant the word I, because we tend to feel an I gathered here. And we're just going to try to see if we can sense clearly and have momentum in it, this unique individual vibration. So let's, just one of those rare retreats where we chant I. So let's inhale. You can keep your hand there or not. We're going to try to sense in back of this I, this sense of I, what's my vibration? So inhale. And for the next 5 minutes or so, you can chant it whenever you please, out loud or whisper, whatever level. We're going to try to see if we can become more conscious of this vibration in back of the I. So feel free to just sing it out anytime you want. You're trying to discern your particular vibration. When you say I, then you let it fade, like you chant the word Om. You let the word I fade, and you try to sense the energy of the I. Let's do it together again. And let it go soft, and just try to sense this distinct vibration here at this place. Let's do it again. Inhale. Sense the vibration. That's your vibration. Again. Okay, you play with it for a few minutes in your own way, but don't worry about disturbing us. We're all focused too. Next phase, stay in it, but gently open your eyes and stay in this clear sense of I with your eyes open and looking around. And you can go back in, you can close your eyes and just, you want to get so this place you feel with closed eyes, you can be in this vibration with eyes open or closed. So just back and forth, open, closed. We're trying to find and stay in our vibration. When we do, certain benefits come, but I don't want to tell you what they are. I don't want to tell you what to think. We're going to do this again. We're going to chant I, focus there with eyes closed. Then we're going to open our eyes. And then when we feel ready, we're going to walk around, trying to stay centered in our vibration, not in our ego, in our vibration. Now, there's an interplay between ego and vibration, but I don't want to get into that right now, but it's fascinating. The main thing is to get into your vibration. So, we're going to once again close our eyes, do a minute or two of the I chant, and even feeling that place. And then we're going to open our eyes, and when you feel like it, walking about, trying to stay there. And if you lose it, you close your eyes, you touch the eye center, and you try to get centered in it again. But the goal is to be able to feel your vibration all the time. I mean, whose vibration are you feeling when you're not feeling your eye vibration? You're feeling a scattered, diffused, confused vibration of yourself usually, instead of a clear, beautiful vibration. Okay, so what's your vibration? Again, let's chant I a few times. Let's do it a couple minutes. Center in it, and then I'll tell you when to open your eyes. And don't think too much about process. We want to get centered in our vibration, our God-given vibration. Where does this vibration come from, after all? Okay, so touching that point again, the who-me place. When you feel ready, slowly open your eyes. Maintain the awareness of this vibration. Center there. Your eyes open, but you're centered in your heart vibration. Just not losing it. If you lose it, you close your eyes, you go back to it. It's your vibration. It's your vibration. This is going on all the time. You're just sensing what's going on all the time. But you're sensing it clearly, like you're getting a clear radio signal instead of static. And when you sense it clearly, strive to feel it as you stand. If you still got it when you stand, great, then go for a walk. And I'll shout when it's time to come back. And if you stand up and you lose it, then you sit back down, you close your eyes, and you Focus again. Because the idea is we want to cultivate our vibration and stay in it this whole retreat. So if you're ready, focus again. See, when I talk to your mind, you often lose. When I talk and you try to understand what I'm saying, unfortunately, you often lose your vibration. So here we go, back to that place, that heart vibration. And we open our eyes, maintaining it. We stand. We go for a walkabout. And if you lose it, just pause, close your eyes, sense it again. Just try to stay in your vibration. Why not? It's more truly you. Well, what do you notice about this this vibration? What do you notice? Yes, sweet. How many found sweet? That's interesting. Yes, happy and soothing, calming, connection, oneness, connection, clearer. Yes, fluid, blissful, brightness, sharp, expansive. Okay, that's very good. How many of you, when you were feeling this vibration, felt self-esteem problems? One. Yes. Okay. If you find you're in your vibration, you'll find there are no self-esteem problems. You're just being yourself. So there's no static about worthiness or value. That's when you're in your vibration, you don't have any self-esteem problem. There's just this self-confidence in being. I'm being. I'm just being, and being is good. Being comes from somewhere good, and I'm enjoying being. Okay? How many felt, I gotta get a Coca-Cola, or I need some food, or I gotta get, or I need? How many felt need when they were in their vibration? Usually when you're in your vibration, you don't feel need. If you think there will be time for this body to eat, fine. but there's kind of a confidence of life in your vibration when you're in your vibration. Yes. Celebratory. Yeah, it can. How many felt when they were in this vibration completely at ease in their body? Yeah. You usually feel you're occupying your body and you're happy in your body. How many felt anxiety? Also, this place, there's hardly any anxiety when you're in your vibration. So I'll now say some yoga thoughts. Did you have something to say? All is well. And all what? And will always be well. Well, you're getting into it. Yes, didn't feel a sense of I. Into your vibration, you didn't feel the sense of I. These are very wonderful things you're talking about, and they're characteristic of sensing your vibration, because your vibration is not your ego. You have a vibration. And in this beautiful vibration, you're endowed with various levels of consciousness, and you look out from your mind and your feeling nature and your senses and your body, and you discern, I'm separate from everybody, I'm different from everybody. And this ego forms from when we're little beings. We have this vibration, but our ego is a sense not only of the vibration, but it's an interpretive thing we do with our feeling, sometimes from past lives, sometimes from this life. So we have a vibration, but we also have a discernment that we make, or a judgment that we make about separateness, which is evaluating the world and evaluating others and evaluating our performance, evaluating what's going on. Maybe it's something terrible, So in back of the ego is our vibration. If we could just sense and live in our vibration, that'd be so much better for us, because our ego is a confused vibration. We confuse our vibration. We interpret it, we judge it, we apply past experiences to it. We distort our vibration. So when you get into your vibration, just feeling your vibration, if you get into it deep enough, your ego's not going to distort that vibration and make you feel anxious or I'm unworthy. You're just being. So it's a very wonderful healing thing for the ego. Also, you get into your vibration, very likely you're not going to want to do addictive things. When you're confused about your vibration, or when your vibration's distorted, then you think, I need another drink, or I need another cigarette, or I need, gobs of food. A little bit of food. I need gobs. Confused sense of vibration. The more you can get into your vibration, the more you can be in harmony. Because it's not a distorted sense of identity being thrown in by creature self, what our parents taught us, what society thinks, what we think. We tend to live in ego, the false self, because we don't live enough in our own vibration. Abide in it, appreciate it, let it be a core. We let our ego, our false sense of self, dominate our awareness instead of our vibration. That's a simple yoga explanation of a lot. The way home is to find your vibration and let the ego calm down more and more. So the ego isn't trying to disturb or distort the vibration. Get into your vibration. Very likely it's very healthy and very happy. And very content to be. Why? It's coming from the divine's enforcing it. Now, there may be pathologies involved in which the ego does things to the vibration and it has an enforced sense of separateness. But there are a lot of problems with identity. There are a lot of illnesses. But one of the healthiest things you can do, especially regarding self-destructive behavior, is find your vibration. Also, one of the best ways to become enlightened is to find your vibration. Find your vibration, not necessarily your ego. Your vibration is distinct from your ego. Your ego is taking there's a vibration in it, but it distorts from a view of separateness all kinds of thoughts, feelings, emotions, instincts about this separateness. So, yes, you're supposed to feel a distinct vibration. When you get into it deep enough, there's a vibration there. First, you may sense it vaguely, but you're going to feel a flow of energy or consciousness that is clearly discernible as you get into it. Okay, so if we can feel and observe and even get to enjoy or center in our vibration, this enables us to get a grip on lots of things. Because one of the main factors that the ego does is it feels separate from everybody. It gets angry. The fetters. So a way out of anger is to sense your vibration. Because chances are it's not angry. Ego is using energy to be angry, but strive to sense your vibration. The way out of fear, the way out of jealousy. Get into your vibration. If people sense their own vibration, they'd never be jealous of another person because they're in their vibration. It's a very profound and massive concept, this idea of what is your vibration.